Mike's Daily Podcast.
Tacky!
What? Why? Why is that tacky? Don't call Aunt Katrine tacky. That's not nice.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. This is the very first time I've ever talked into this microphone on Mike's Daily Podcast. Isn't that awesome?
Awesome.
It's great. It's amazing. It makes you go, wow! How did you ever believe that Mike Matthews could do this show and say we?
A mess. It's a mess.
It's what it is. It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's better than that. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's terrible.
That's terrible.
Really terrible. It's the song called
Mike's
Daily Podcast. Did you like it?
Yeah!
Ah, good. Were you offended?
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
Ha 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 ha.
That'll never happen!
Listen, folks. Let me ask you a question. What happens when you're president, and let's say your fan base is mostly of the Christian persuasion, and here along comes one of the biggest well-known people in the Christian world, Pat Robertson, and he says this to you.
You just don't do that, Mr. President. It isn't cool.
You just don't do that. Act like a whining little kid that goes,
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
you got to say when you lose that you've lost, instead of telling everybody all about how you won when you did not win. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And everybody is saying that you didn't win. But, oh, where did I guess I didn't have that. I'm looking for that sound effect that it's not here. Dang it. Oh well. There I go. I have more than just sound effects for today's show. I guess we'll get to that part of the show then.
And here's today's podcast picture.
This is what I was looking for.
I won.
Okay, you didn't win. You can't win them all. You can't. Sorry. Okay, and I don't have sorry on today's show. But I do have Mike's Daily Podcast. The podcast picture. Maybe I should get to that. But so I've voted for people that have lost, and I got over it. Oh, my candidate lost? Oh, you're all sad. You play this. I don't even know what kind of instrument that was. Hurt my ear. But that's not... That's right, Basil. I apologize for that weird, bizarre noise. I went to this cool place with my lovely lady friend over the weekend. I posted a couple pictures of it. Should I post one more, Basil the Boxer? I think I should. I'm going to post one more from this place, the... what was it? Judge Roberts? No, Judge... There was a judge, and I have lost the judge's name. It will occur to me at some point, but... Yes, it's a new place that opened about a month ago, and maybe some of you are tired of it. Let's see. Oh, Judge John Sutter. There we go. Who was Judge John Sutter? Well, a long time ago, it was an old man.
Hey, man, I'm 91 years old. Got that? I deserve a little respect from you, my buddy.
He called me his buddy. Let's see. Judge John Sutter was, well, I guess he has a park named after him. It doesn't really say who he was in my quick little search. But John Augustus Sutter, if this is the same one, was born in 1803, died in 1880, a German-born Swiss immigrant of Mexican and American citizenship, known for establishing Sutter's Fort. Oh! No, but he wasn't the judge. It was a different one. That's why they say Judge John Sutter. Well, I don't know. But it is in an interesting area because this park is actually rich in transportation history. It's right there at the base of the Oakland Bridge. The new Oakland Bridge. It actually is in the place of what used to be the old Oakland Bridge.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it also at one point was the historic electric railway key system that operated there on a train trestle between 1903 and 1939, carrying passengers to a ferry terminal far out in the bay to cross over to San Francisco. Don't you love people that talk like this? Isn't it awesome?
Awesome.
It's a nightmare of a show.
Carrying passengers to a ferry terminal far out in the bay to cross over to San Francisco. Later, the ferries were replaced by streetcars that ran across the lower deck of the bridge until 1960. And then they took that part out, and then you could go in a car, and then more cars. All kinds of cars. Unless you like to swing across the bridge. Okay, I'm done with that.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
All right. Cafe, anyway. Mike Matthews here. So, where I like to... Oh, here's the thing. When I have had one of these days, it was not a winning sort of day. It was one of those days where nothing goes my way type thing. Lots of stuff goes wrong. And it's a mess.
A mess. It's a mess.
And I found that when I am buried in stuff, doing other people's stuff, everything compounding upon me, everything going crazy, I must say that it is very difficult for me to laugh when someone makes a joke. When someone comes along and goes, Mike, hey, it looks like you're drinking some water. You sure look like water. That water looks like... That doesn't actually look like water. That looks like vodka. Ha, 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 ha.
You just don't do that.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I can't laugh at that. It's not funny to me. You know, I don't mind. I don't mind being laughed at. But I really enjoy laughing with you, not being laughed at. And I don't like laughing at you. So why do you like laughing at me?
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
So that's all I have to say about that. Just don't get it. And then they wonder why I'm in a bad mood. Well, I don't really appreciate your choice of humor there. $52 million worth of missed rent so far in 2020 is what I'm hearing. Because people have I can't pay the rent. But I'm going to stay living here and I can't pay you the rent. You can't do anything to me. I can't pay the rent. That's bad. But John Cleese. Yes, it is bad, Mike. Thank you for pointing that out to us. Well, I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. I mean, I've been a landlord. I've been a tenant. And, you know, I've been the landlord that forgives the tenant. But eventually, the tenant's got to make the mortgage and got to pay for stuff. So, it's hard for everybody, I know. John Cleese from Monty Python. He did a very funny... let's see, what was it? Did I see it on a plane? No, I don't know where I saw this exactly, but he did a really funny thing where he was eulogizing. This is actually a very sad thing. His good friend Graham Chapman, who passed away, I think he was very young. And so John Cleese and all the other Monty Python members were there in the church, beautiful church. And during the service, John Cleese gets up and he says, I think, a lot of people think I should get up here and I should do a nice little eulogy for my friend. Let me tell you why I'm not going to do that. And then he said that his friend Graham Chapman would be very upset with him if he did some stupid, boring, oh, we're going to miss Graham so badly, oh. And he goes, no, in fact, Graham Chapman would prefer if I... And then he says a bad word or two. In the church! That's not very cool.
You just don't do.
And so... But it is on YouTube. This happened years ago. I'm also thinking of another great British person. I think he was British. Well, I think he was Turkish background, if I followed the movie correctly. I finally saw Bohemian Rhapsody. And the great Freddie Mercury. And I watched that movie. Yes, everybody raved about it, said it was so good. I liked it, but I am a avid fan of Queen. I love their music. And there's I don't have every single album that they ever made. I love their albums so much. That sounds like Chely Shoehart, I know. But it is sort of the go-to nerdy voice. So, I have seen or listened to just about every album. I didn't know that Freddie did a song about his cat called Delilah. When I had no clue until yesterday, my lovely lady friend told me about it. And then in the movie, you see he's got all kinds of cats. Yeah. He's surrounded by cats the entire movie. So, I didn't know that. Anyway, the movie was good. Overall, the movie was great. The way they did the whole, what do you call that, Live Aid. And I remember Live Aid. I don't remember watching Queen live. I saw Led Zeppelin live. And who else sticks out in my brain that I saw live? I think I saw Phil Collins perform one of his songs. He had just taken the Concorde jet and flown over. And he was singing Against All Odds. I think he did that song twice. Once in Wembley and then once in Philadelphia. But I did not see the Queen. So Queen did a fantastic performance. Radio Gaga. I think they did Bohemian Rhapsody. We Are the Champions. I think they did The Hammer Will Fall. But if you see it on YouTube, it's up on YouTube. Just that performance, what really happened, it is amazing. It's jaw-dropping. It's like the likes you will never see a rock band do again. It was so amazing. Then they recreate this in this movie. They have to CGI like crazy. I mean, an amazing job that they did to recreate that. And that was it Rami Malek? I forget his name now, but he did a great job playing Freddie. And did all the moves that Freddie did in Queen. That was impressive. But they did get a lot of the chronology is off. From what I understand, from what I heard Brian May say in a couple interviews, they didn't know. He never came out and said, I have AIDS. That scene never actually happened. Brian May said that Freddie said to them, actually it wasn't until they were making the Innuendo album, he said to them, hey, I got this thing, I think you know what it is, but I don't want to talk about it, that's wasted time. And that actually was mentioned in the movie, that's true. He said, let's not waste time on crying and all that, let's get this album done. And they made a fantastic album, Innuendo. And also, according to Brian May, Freddie was very tired and, weak, but he still he'd take a shot of whiskey or something and he'd go, let's do this. Let's belt this out. And when you hear the song The Show Must Go On, which is the closing song in the credits of Bohemian Rhapsody, you hear the last just explosion of brilliance coming out of that great man. So it's a great movie altogether. The guy that played Brian May in the movie just did a fantastic job. I mean, just really, he sounds like him and looks like him. How much more can you do as an actor? Yet he was doing his own thing. And all right, enough about that. That movie's old. You probably don't even care about it anymore. I think it's 2 years old at this point. But I enjoyed watching it. All right, so let's go. That just was on my mind, and thank you for listening to my rantings here today. at Cafe Anyway. And we're somewhere outside a Cafe Anyway, the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. I've had a crazy day. I got to wrap this up. So let's say hi to some people, the Cafe Anyway characters.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the shop supervisor. That nerd guy that you did earlier didn't sound anything like me.
No, he didn't. He sounded nothing like you. You are correct. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. There's been a lot of sound effects in your podcast today. Yeah. Are you joking with me? I've had a stressful day. I don't have time to joke. Sorry, Mike. Jeez, I'll back off, okay? All right. Just back off. Back off, man. Back off. Hey. So I understand the Republican thinking, and I love you, Republicans, I love you. I just don't like it when you get all wacky, conspiratorial, oh gosh, Bigfoot just drove by me in an Uber, and I just saw the Tooth Fairy, and you get all crazy with your conspiracy theories. I can't stand that. Now, I know some Democrats get on that bandwagon now and then.
America elected Donald Trump. And yeah, the Russians helped.
Did the Russians really help? Well, I guess they did a little bit. They did the kind of the thing where they manipulated it. Well, there's a whole movie about that's on the Netflix where there was ways they could manipulate the election. And they wanted Trump to win because they didn't like Hillary. They liked Trump for some weird reason.
I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
Hey, I agree with that. I agree with getting along with everyone. But, you got to take a stand. And you can't just say... And then he also said the fire and fury thing. And I don't know... Here he is.
They will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power. The likes of which this world has never seen before.
That's how you gotta talk tough sometimes. And I got that, and that made sense to me as well. But after this election, I'm sure he's saying...
What was that all about?
And I think you might be saying that about this podcast. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Tell me what you think. 336MM Daily, 3 plus 3 equals 6MM as in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast tries to be. And I hope tomorrow will try to be a better day for you and for me. Good luck. And that was episode 2157, 215
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!